Hi, garden friends. Welcome back to the Garden Girls podcast. I'm Dagny.
And I'm Meg.
And our friendship started in a group chat where we talked a lot about gardening. So now we're inviting you into the group chat too. So today we're actually going to be talking about something a little bit juicy. We're going to be talking garden confessions, and we have a lot of really fun user submitted garden confessions that we collected over on Instagram that I'm very excited to dive into. I know, Meg, you got a lot of really good ones, right?
I did. They're so funny. I'm like so glad that we did this because
Yeah.
we need like we need a little laugh right now. I think everyone needs a little laugh right now.
So true. So true. Do you want to start us off?
Okay, this one is very unfortunate. I can't even imagine doing this. So one user says, I potted all of my veggies in plant food instead of soil. I wondered why my patio smelled so bad.
Oh no.
Like, just imagine. I bet that would smell
It
so bad. Also, how do you mix up fertilizer and soil?
I know. I'm curious what they mean by plant food here because that could kind of encompass a lot of different things. Like, did they just plant straight cow manure? Because that would be real stinky.
I'm
Versus like
assuming they mean
a
fertilizer.
granular like fertilizer.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what they mean just because
That
like
would
that
get
smells the worst.
expensive.
Yeah,
Like wow, I'm going through a lot of bags of fertilizer here. Yeah.
I know.
I
That's very unfortunate because it can like burn your plants too.
yeah, I
Like I don't think that
wonder.
your plants can survive in just straight up fertilizer, or maybe they just like become monster plants. I don't know.
Oh God. Yeah, that could be kind of freaky. I've had that problem with the smell, just like over fertilizing with an organic granular fertilizer before. Like it, and so
Every fertilizer day. I
yeah, it
hate it. It
stinks.
stinks so bad.
It smells. So I can only imagine how bad that smelled and how disappointing that must have been for them. Okay, I feel like you may relate to this one. I absolutely hate growing strawberries. They're the most insidious weed in my garden.
I can 100% relate to that. I can very, very well relate to that. They're a weed in my garden as well. I tried to rip all of them out and transplant them into containers, and they're just growing back.
Yeah,
They're just growing back.
there's no stopping them. I have heard that like if you grow, I think the ever-bearing varieties are supposed to make less runners, but isn't that what you're growing?
Yep. Yep,
Yeah,
it's not true. They run
they run.
full speed.
Which like that's what I love about them because they plant themselves, but I guess yeah, if you're not mentally prepared for that and that wasn't the goal, that would be very frustrating. I am
Yeah.
intentionally doing that this year. I think in the beds I was gonna put the jelly bean blueberries in the raised beds to the side of the greenhouse, and like nothing else grows really well with blueberries. So I was just gonna let the strawberries kind of work as a ground cover in there, I think, and just see what happens.
Well, I think that'll be fine because it's in a raised bed.
Yeah,
If you just don't plant them in the ground, it's like
right.
planting mint in the ground. They they take over. I'm gonna be pulling them out of my ground for years probably.
You'd think that the squirrels would help you with that or something, but I guess not. No.
I know they don't want to help me with the important things. They just want to plant trees
But
in my yard.
it is funny how we all know mint doesn't go in the ground, but for some reason that discourse has not followed over for the strawberries, even though the growth pattern seems really similar in a lot of ways.
Aren't strawberries related to mint? Am I making that
That's
up
a
or
good
is that
question. I thought they were
true?
rose. Were they? Or I don't know. I might be making that up too. It might not be related to roses.
I'm looking it up now. You're right, Dagny.
It is
They're in the
rose.
rose family.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
don't
Well,
know
I don't
what I
know.
don't know why I thought they were related to mint. Probably because of how they spread.
That's fair.
I related it to mint in my
I
head.
don't know why I know they're related to roses. So that's just sometimes things come out of my mouth and I don't understand how they got there.
Let's see what's next. So this person says, I grew snap peas with sweet peas and was scared since one pod is inedible and pulled them all.
Oh, no.
That's unfortunate because you're right. Like sweet peas are inedible. They're actually toxic if you consume them, but they do look a lot like snap peas.
They
So,
do. Yeah, I can see that being
yeah.
a problem. Yeah. Are there other plants like that where there's like lookalikes that are inedible?
Um,
I'm trying to think. Oh,
carrots
yeah,
have,
that's a bad
like
one.
two different lookalikes. They have hemlock and Queen Anne's lace.
Mm-hmm.
There's wild carrots, but those are edible, but they look like all the other
Yeah.
wild things. So, yeah, there's some lookalikes, so you do have to be very careful. You have to know what you're planting,
I
for
have
sure.
this come up a lot when I talk about growing the mushrooms online because people will be like, how do you know you're eating the right mushroom? What if there's another mushroom growing right next to it that looks similar? And it is kind of the scary part of it. Like you have to
It
decide
is.
what risk level you're comfortable with. I mean, I've been growing the wine cap mushrooms and they really don't have like a toxic look-alike, so that's how I justify it, but it can get
I was
tricky.
gonna say I'm growing wine caps and I still get like freaked out when they
Really?
pop up. I'm like, is this a wine cap? Because they'll pop up since my whole path is made out of wood chips. It's like the mycelium is spreading, and so they'll
Yep.
pop up where I didn't even, plant them. And so I'm like, this looks like a wine cap, but is it? I don't know for sure, but I
You're
know
you're
for sure
pretty
it's a
safe.
wine cap.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
you're pretty safe. But I don't know. It's like when you cook chicken, which you wouldn't relate to this because you're a vegetarian, but it's like when you cook chicken and you're just like not totally convinced
Mm.
that it's cooked all the
You
way.
got to get that thermometer out. Yeah. No,
I don't even trust the thermometer sometimes. I'll cut open the chicken and I'm like, it looks a little pink. I
there
don't
is
know.
pink.
I should just burn it.
It's not worth the risk. No. This one's kind of sad. I unintentionally cut a plant, herb, or flower when pruning. If you're pruning something and you cut something else by mistake,
Oh,
that's heartbreaking. I've definitely done that. Or like the other day, I was pruning the tomatoes and I accidentally pruned off a branch that had fruit on it instead of a leaf.
I've
Yeah.
done that before. I've actually done one better and I've accidentally cut off like the entire main stem
No.
of the tomato. Yes, I did that one time. That was awful. I think I cried.
I
I think
would.
I cried because it was like one of my favorite varieties. I think it was a Cherokee Purple or something, and I was really excited for it. And the whole thing,
Oh my God. I've definitely done that with like squash.
yeah, you have to really look and be careful when you're pruning,
Even
for
when you're
sure.
looking, there's so many branches. It gets overwhelming.
I know. This one is interesting. I don't know if I've ever even heard this before, and I don't know their thinking behind this. I thought that if I put the stem of a rose with honey into a potato and buried it in the ground, I'd have a rose plant.
This is like, okay, this comes back. I've seen this. This is those
You
weird, like,
have?
interesting gardening hacks. You know, those like clickbaity videos where they show like 1,000
Yes.
different hacks in a row? It's in like those videos. Yeah. Those make me so mad because they
They are never true.
never, ever, ever. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Honestly, it's so much like, I mean, I don't know anything about grafting roses. I'm sure that is really complicated, but just like propagating things from stems in general is so much simpler than that too. Like I was saying with the elderberry, you can literally just like chop off a piece and stick it in the ground and it will root. What is with the potato?
Or water. Like
Yeah.
water is always a surefire way to root something if you really want to, and you can check its progress.
Right. That's just like over engineering the heck out of that. That's wild to
Yeah,
me.
that's a really funny one. I don't
They must have been so disappointed. Like you've got this beautiful rose you're trying to duplicate. Yeah, no. Hmm. All right. Next one is I leave the weeds in my garden to make it look more lush. I see. I can relate. I can relate to
Yeah.
this. Wasn't me, but I do
I was
this.
about to say, are you sure that
I
wasn't you?
know. I have my own list, but no, this, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if it's something that is just like a natural living mulch kind of ground cover, it's not invasive, it's not preventing the other things you're intentionally growing from growing, why not just
Right.
let
As
it
long as
grow?
it's not harming anything.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like it encourages more of a balanced ecosystem because you're giving the bugs more places to hide. Like, seems like a win to me.
Biodiversity.
I support this.
Yep. You're just feeding your ecosystem. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This is also really unfortunate. I don't know what I would do in this situation. Once I mixed up all of my tomato seedling labels, I ended up with 18 cherry tomato plants.
Oh no.
That just like gave me anxiety.
Right?
Like I would be so overwhelmed. I already get overwhelmed with like one cherry tomato plant just because they're so prolific
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you have so many cherry tomatoes you don't know what to do with. Imagine that 18.
I no, I
Also, how
barely.
does that happen? Why
Yeah.
were you
How
even
does
growing 18 cherry tomato plants? Why did you even have those planted?
I like dumped an entire packet of arugula seeds into like a 6-cell seed tray once, and that was a nightmare. So I can only imagine having 18 cherry tomato plants. That would be
And they
awful.
didn't say, but I wonder if they only figured that out like after they were growing
I mean, they
or
must have
yeah, that's
like
funny.
way too far into the process to do anything about it, right? That's
Yeah, I guess they learned from that,
I guess
you
so.
got to label your seedlings.
See, usually with the
You just have
tomatoes,
to.
I like, or it's really the peppers, I don't tend to label them because I'm like, I'll figure it out later. But the
Yeah.
tomatoes, I've been a little bit more on top of it this year because I'm doing a lot of new varieties and I want to know, I want to be able to remember what they are to know if I want to grow them again. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And you
tricky.
got to see what variety they are to see how they grow too,
Yeah.
like to figure out spacing and where they're going to go
Well,
in
I
the
guess if they're
garden.
all cherry tomatoes, you don't have to worry so much
I
about
guess
that.
not.
You know
Oh my
exactly what you're
gosh.
getting
Your
eventually.
garden is going to be taken over.
I throw all kinds of vegetable scraps into the garden beds. I just cover them enough so the critters don't find it. That's actually like a really good composting technique. I've heard of
Yeah,
that. Like you just bury stuff in the garden, like as long as the
there's nothing wrong with it.
critters aren't digging it up, go for it. I find that like that's just more work for me than like going to the compost bin because then
Yeah.
if you're like trying to bury things, but I can see it like stuff composting faster that way for sure.
Also, how would you make sure that there's enough browns, I guess, to like speed it up? Unless you maybe your mulch, if you use straw mulch or hemp or whatever, that
Yeah.
would count.
I guess they're just counting on the worms to like really get in there
Yeah.
fast, probably.
I would at least like maybe chop it up a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then like sprinkle it in.
Well, there's
But I mean,
certain
yeah, there's
things.
nothing wrong with that.
As if your garden's happy, just go for it. Why not?
So this person said that their fail is always planting everything at the same time instead of staggering planting by a couple of weeks.
I feel like this is really tricky. It's tricky to
Yeah.
like get the hang of that. But that's something that I still feel like I struggle with sometimes.
Yeah, me too. I think I've gotten a lot better about it over the last couple of years. Like I kind of just walk out with seed packets every once in a while. I mean, it's part of like chaos gardening,
Yeah.
just throwing stuff and like seeing what pops up. And when you harvest something, like I always try to make use of that empty space now. So I'll go out and like fill it with something else. But yeah, it is always better to like stagger.
Yeah, you'll end
So
up with
that
a lot of gaps otherwise, but
Yeah, that's like the most challenging thing about fall gardening, I guess, is like if you don't stagger certain things, your whole garden is going to be full when it comes time to plant the fall garden, and then you don't have anywhere to plant like
yeah,
your fall
that's
stuff.
always been an issue for me. And
Yeah.
then you have to like
Yeah.
make brutal sacrifices, and that's no fun.
It's just something you learn over time, I think.
Yeah, and I think in different seasons of your life, it's easier than others. Like if you happen to just be really busy or tired, that makes it harder too.
For sure.
Well, this kind of plays into the cherry tomato fiasco. People compliment my garden all the time. Little do they know, I don't know what I planted anywhere. Labels who? Did I seed things here twice? We'll find out eventually.
I relate to this so much.
Yeah, it happens.
Between like chaos gardening and all the volunteer plants, I honestly don't really know a lot of the times what it is until it pops up, really.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And
Or
that's
like,
okay.
yeah, and like if stuff self seeds, like it's like then you really don't know. Like it's just a little green
Yeah.
thing until it gets identifiable.
It keeps you on your toes and it keeps gardening fun and
Yeah.
just like unpredictable. A little bit of
Yeah.
element of
I
surprise.
think that it's kind of a misconception that like everyone who gardens has like this perfect plan and is like doing things exactly right at all times. Like you can
Yeah.
have a beautiful garden without really thinking about the planning part of it all that much.
I would suggest not. Just not at all. Just
You
wing it.
would. You would.
Okay. This person says, I used Ray Cled. Oh my God.
Yeah. I knew what you said, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. I used red clay soil to put my tomato plant and it died, obviously, and then I cried.
Oh. Oh no. This is so sad. Tomatoes are making everybody cry. Let me tell you, there's so many
I
tomato
know.
problems. Like anything could happen.
Red
Oh
clay
gosh.
soil is not the best to grow anything in.
No.
You, if you're using that soil, whether it's in ground or whether I don't know if they're talking about in ground or if they like
Right.
dug
Can
up red
you
clay soil to
buy?
plant in
You
a
can't
container
buy
or
it. I don't think.
no, you can't really.
No.
No, 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 you can't. No, nobody's gonna like mass produce that
Right.
because
No one
we
wants
have
it.
plenty of it. But it's not very conducive to plant growth because it gets very waterlogged. There's not a lot of aeration. The roots, it's very dense. The roots can't really like push through it. And so it's like you're suffocating your plants when you use red clay soil. You can amend the soil adding like perlite or compost. That's probably a better bet than planting in directly into clay soil.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a native plant.
True.
Native plants tend to do pretty good because obviously they're used to that kind of soil. But
Tomatoes are
tomatoes,
little babies.
to
Thinking.
me, tomatoes are not native plants. They're princesses. They're finicky. They like the best of the best kind of soil.
I let all my lettuce go to seed. I didn't harvest or eat any of it. So I can relate to this one
I can
because
too.
in the spring I do this. I'm like, I'm gonna fill everything with lettuce so that it looks really full and lush and green. And then we have 20 heads of lettuce ready at once. And there's just physically no way I can give away or eat all of that in the time that it is ready. It happens. It definitely happens.
I'm also very guilty of this. Like I have big plans for lettuce and I like lettuce. I love salads. It's probably like one of my favorite things to eat, but my stomach doesn't really love it when I eat salad. Like, it kind of upsets my stomach. I don't know if it's like just a bunch of greens at once. I also have IBS, so pretty much everything upsets my stomach.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I always have big plans for like lots of salads in the spring, and then other things start growing, and I'm like, ooh, like look at all the other stuff. And then I neglect my lettuce, and then all of a sudden it's bolting and it's going to seed, and I'm like, wow, I waited too late. That's
It's
every year.
also like, first of all, one head of lettuce goes a really long way. Like, that's like a multiple salads usually. And second of all, it's kind of a lot of work to process it, in my opinion. It's not like
Yeah.
you pick a pepper, you rinse it off, you chop it up. It's like I have to wash my lettuce like 3 to 5 times to get all the ants and dirt off of it every single time,
Yep.
no matter what I do. And it takes me a good 20 minutes to feel like I can eat this without getting gritty dirt in my mouth. So that's a
And it's like a
problem.
workout if you use
Yeah.
like a salad spinner,
Yeah, and
like
I
to spin all
do.
your
Yeah, and
lettuce.
then you've got more dishes to clean. It's yeah. I
And
don't
then you
know.
have to put it away, and then you have to make sure that you eat it in time or it's going to go
Oh
slimy,
God.
especially if you're an organic gardener. Like there's no preservatives on it. So
Mm-mm.
you have like 2 or 3 days sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of work and not a lot of reward in my opinion.
That's okay. Just let it go to seed and reseed itself, and then you'll have more lettuce.
Yeah.
I thought the squash bugs mating all over my cucumbers were stink bugs and did nothing. I mean, usually if it even resembles a stink bug, like,
Just get
and
rid of
it's
it.
on a curcubit, like a cucumber or a squash, like it's gone. It's probably a squash bug. Pluck it off, introduce it to some soapy water or whatever you want to do to get rid of it.
They were
Yeah, you
probably
gotta.
like so happy. They were probably like, "Yeah, thank you so much for being so friendly." Most gardeners, they don't let us stay this long.
Yeah.
Mm.
This happens a lot though. If you don't know what you're looking for, like my one of my biggest mistakes when I was gardening for my first year was I thought that bean beetles and squash beetles were ladybugs because they look so
Oh,
similar.
yeah.
They look like ladybugs. They're just completely orange instead of they have like a completely orange head instead of a black head.
Yep.
And even their eggs look exactly like ladybug eggs. So I thought, oh, look at all of these ladybugs, like all over my cucumbers and my squash. Wow, like
Yeah.
this is so great. And they were freaking eating it. I discovered this because I saw them literally eating them alive. And I was like, wait, ladybugs aren't supposed to eat your plants, are they? And then I did a quick Google and I was like, oh, this is not a ladybug. So it
Listen, no
happens
one
a lot.
no one can fault you for positive thinking. I'll say that.
Yeah. I literally thought that my garden was just like ladybug paradise. I was
Right?
like, wow, I have
Oh
so many
wow.
ladybugs. So that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
Babied a glorious, gigantic marigold volunteer. Just kidding. It was ragweed.
Oh no. Yeah, this happens a lot too. All the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And of course, it's got to be the one that like everyone's allergic to. Yeah.
I think I have a ragweed one too. So someone said I once false identified a flower and transplanted a bunch of volunteer ragweed. So apparently ragweed is just out here terrorizing everyone.
Maybe that's why it's so invasive. It's like it fools
Yeah,
people. That's so funny.
that's tricky. That is very tricky. This one is so I don't know if I can give any excuses to this one because I can't even believe this. I would never. I don't even know how this makes any sense. Whenever I plant something, I take it out of the soil every day to check the roots.
Oh. That I so
That that's
um
that's not
I feel like bad for the plant, to be honest, because like that must be so stressful.
yeah.
And then
Um
you can't know that it's doing well because you've interfered with its ability to do well.
yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Don't do
Like
that.
you shouldn't do that. Don't
Just
do
don't.
that.
No,
Don't do that.
that's gonna
You
be a
just have
no.
to plant it and just you have to have faith that it knows, the roots know what they're doing and that they're okay.
Trust the
As long as the
process.
top of the plant is okay, then the roots are okay. You can't
Yeah,
pull it out
but
every
you need
day.
to trust the
You're just
process,
you're just killing your plant. You're just setting it behind. I don't even know. I hope that's not true. I hope someone just made that up.
right? I know I need to thin my plants and give them all space, but I just can't. Surely this time is different. I mean, listen, if it's working, fine, but where you're saying surely this time is different, that tells me that the plant's not happy. Like, we do have to learn to learn
Yeah.
from our
We do have
mistakes.
to learn from our mistakes. We can't make mistakes and then make the same mistakes over and over and over again and expect a different outcome. Isn't that like the definition of
Yeah,
insanity?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
I was like, wait, this sounds really familiar.
Oh, it's. Listen, I have like dumped bags of kale seeds and then been like, I'll thin these, and then decided later, no, I want to grow them as microgreens. So if you're not letting them get to full size, and that's the point, then sure. But there is I mean, and listen, we've talked about spacing a lot and how we don't always follow the rules for spacing. I think there's nuance there, obviously, but they need room to breathe. So,
Yeah, and it totally depends on the crop too. Like for lettuce, I always really cram those,
yeah.
but if it's a root crop like carrots or beets or something, obviously they need room to grow. You have to thin them or
Yeah.
they're not going to grow. Or like large plants like tomatoes or whatever, you have to give them space or they're not going to grow. You just have to thin. It's just part of it. It's like pulling weeds. You've got to also thin things out.
Yeah.
So this person says, I pruned all the suckers off of my determinate tomatoes and ended up with 0 tomatoes. This
Oh,
is a
no.
very common
Yeah.
mistake, I think, because I think a lot of people don't realize there's a difference between determinates and indeterminates when you're pruning, and determinates, like they have a determined amount of fruit that they're gonna set, and when you prune the suckers off of them, you're literally pruning off the fruit.
That's a tough lesson to learn, though.
It is a tough lesson to learn.
That's too
And
bad.
like we were saying before in our previous podcast, like it seems like there's so many rules about like pruning tomatoes. It's probably like ingrained in this person's head, like, oh, I need to prune out the suckers
Right.
because that's like all you hear about tomato pruning is like the suckers, the suckers. But yeah, there's certain tomatoes that don't need pruning, and that's your determinate, like paste type of tomatoes or bush type. But you know what? It's the best way to learn.
It
So
is. It
hopefully,
is.
hopefully they know now.
Yeah, you won't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
So I got this three separate times. Three separate people made this same confession to me.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody's peeing in their gardens.
Mm,
Um, like, I get it.
interesting.
So some people are saying they do a perimeter to keep the deer out. And then also, like, it's a
Okay.
natural fertilizer. Um,
Okay.
I like you. I'm so glad you have the privacy level to be able to confidently do this because I do not.
Neither do I.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're probably men, I'm assuming, or they
A lot
probably
of them
have,
were
you know, that
women who
part that would
said that
make
they
it
made their husbands do it. Like it was like,
okay. I was gonna say it's like, you know, if you have a certain part, it's gonna be a little
yeah,
easier.
yeah, right. But that's so fun. I just thought that was interesting that like so many people are doing this in secret and like not talking about it. So I'm curious if people will comment now and tell us that they also do this because I'm wondering if like everybody's peeing in their garden except for us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it makes sense if you're trying to ward off wildlife that could scent that
Sure.
and not want to come near it. I guess that makes sense. But I've also heard about hair, like people doing this with hair,
Oh,
human hair,
interesting. Yeah.
to also ward off. Like people go to great lengths to ward off deers, from what I understand. I don't deal with deers because I like it's fully fenced in my backyard, and there's no way that deers
Yeah.
can even get in. But I've heard of people going to great lengths to get rid
That's
of deers.
wild.
On kind of the same topic, someone said period blood water on the garden from rinsing cloth menstrual pads.
Nice.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That's dedication, honestly. I bet it is
It
really
is.
good for the garden.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably lots of minerals,
I mean,
I guess.
definitely iron.
That yeah, yeah. And I mean like, you know, sustainable, you know,
I
you're
guess
not
it's just
wasting.
like one of those things where like I would be doing it thinking like, can my neighbors see me right now? You know, like that
Yeah.
would be my first thought would be like, are they watching me pour like red water all over my
For what do they think I'm doing?
garden?
I mean, like, also, would it attract certain things? I would wonder. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it would be more
Because,
repellent.
you know, animals are attracted
That's true.
to,
Right.
you know, I don't know if
Wonder.
that would maybe attract certain things instead of deter them. I don't know.
That's such, oh my gosh, now I wish we could ask a follow-up question.
I know. I
Are
need
you
to know more
listening?
about
Can you
this.
tell us?
Yeah.
Do you have animals digging up your garden now? We need to know.
I just have one more like funny one. It's super quick. I just think that this was like I laughed when I read this. It said, yelling I hate you to a leaf-footed bug, and it flew straight into my mouth.
Oh man.
That is revenge for that leaf-footed bug.
Seriously.
I would probably scream and like go brush my teeth immediately, and I'd probably cry. And
Yeah.
oh. So, a gardening confession of mine. There's like some little quick ones. First of all, we kind of already talked about this in the previous episode, but I don't really like I plant a lot earlier than the average frost date.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of risk it. Like I just risk it. And yeah,
It usually works
it
out.
works out so far. I'm probably going to learn my lesson one day, but I do that. And then I also sometimes I don't harden off the correct way. And instead of
Same.
doing it like a week slowly over time, I kind of just throw them out to the elements like
Yep.
pretty quickly. Like I try to do a fast pace kind of hardening off. And it's been fine so far. But you know, there have also been some casualties from that, and I have learned some lessons that I need to do a little bit slower.
I've done that too. Yeah.
It's hard to do it like a week like you're supposed to, and it's like
I know.
an
Setting
hour a
timers and
day.
like I can't remember to feed myself. Like you want me to remember to bring this plant
Right.
in and out trays of
Yeah.
plants? No.
And like thank goodness this is our job. Like I can't imagine like people that have 9 to 5s and stuff, like how are they supposed to harden
Oh
off their
gosh,
seedlings the
no.
right way?
No.
They can't do it. Where's the time gonna? I don't know.
That is a
Let us
really
know
good
if you have a
point.
9 to 5 and you like successfully harden off your seedlings the quote unquote correct way. Let us know how you do it because I don't know how you do it.
No, definitely not. Okay, I will leave a dying plant just to see what happens rather than put it out of its misery because this has worked out for me in the past. Like my nasturtiums always like as soon as there's a heat wave, they throw a little temper tantrum. They drop all their flowers. They look super sunburned. And I'll cut them back. Like I'll cut all like the dead stuff off, but I'll leave like the stump of it suffering in the ground. And usually once it cools off again, I will have nasturtiums without having to replant the seeds. So they come back a lot faster. I don't know. It's just part of my brain's like, you could make it. Like with a lot of things, it's just, it turns into an experiment and I have to know.
And this makes total sense. How about instead of saying that they're suffering, they're they're surviving.
Yeah, they're
They're just
just,
taking a little break.
yeah. You know, we all need a break sometimes.
We
It's
all need a break.
hard to
And like,
exist.
yeah, like we take a break from the heat. They're just taking a little break from the heat.
Yeah, sure. It's fine. I'm not torturing the plants. It's totally normal.
No. No. They're fine.
Yeah.
I do this too. Like I'll just leave it to see what happens. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And then another thing that I've done that I feel like it would probably be frowned upon, considering that this is my full-time job, is I have ordered plants like online from like Home Depot, Amazon, like the sketchiest places that you can think of. Like, you have no idea where in the world this is being shipped to you from, what quality it is in, if it has a disease on it. I don't like it. I don't like doing it, but sometimes it's the only way I can get things. And so far, knock on wood, I've had really good luck with it. And like the plants have all been fine. But it's definitely like, I feel like most people wouldn't think that's how I'm getting plants for my garden. But there's been certain things like my tea plant that I have that like Home Depot doesn't have that in their nursery here. So I
Yeah.
just get it from the store online.
A lot of people do frown upon like the big box stores because it's a corporation. We all live in this corporate like hellhole, right? But like sometimes you just
Listen,
have to. I don't know. Like I have also bought plants from Lowe's, like if they have a sale
yeah.
or Home Depot or whatever. Some of my favorite plants this year, the variety is called Little Napoli, and it's a Bonnie plant that I got from Home Depot, and it's a dwarf paste tomato. Like paste tomatoes are
Ooh,
already dwarf, right?
interesting.
They're already determinate, but this one's like even more dwarf. And I swear, like these plants have not even gotten over a foot tall, and they've been so productive, and they're like little aromas. They're just like little,
That's
like
fascinating.
it's such a good plant, and I saw that and I was like, yeah, I've got to get this. Like I haven't seen this variety anywhere else. I know it's at Home Depot, whatever, but like, or like if you have a catastrophe and your seedlings die or something happens and you need to go,
Yeah.
I try to go to
It's,
my local
yeah,
garden
it's not our
centers.
first choice. But the
Right.
reality is there's no ethical consumption under late stage capitalism. And
Yeah.
everything sucks. So I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes our plants come from the big box stores. Yeah.
Also, my favorite local garden center that actually has plants that are healthy and like different and like plants that I would want is like an hour away from me. And
Oh
like
yeah.
sometimes I can't make that trip. And
No.
there's a Lowe's 5 minutes down the road and they
Same.
have what I need. So, like it is what it is.
We're all just
We-
doing what we can. And you know what? I still think it's better than going to the grocery store and getting a tomato that was grown 1,500 miles away from you.
I didn't even think about that exactly. Like you don't know where that tomatoes come from and
Right. Like,
the carbon emissions that it took to get to you.
this is what I always come back to when we criticize people for doing things unethically in the garden. At the end of the day, you're growing a garden. It's still better than the alternative.
Yeah. And like you said, we're in late stage capitalism. Nothing is ethical at
Yeah.
this point. Like
It's a mess.
we're just we're on this floating rock all together and we've got to make the most of it.
Yes. Sorry.
That's all we can do. And on that note, should we wrap it up?
Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast, pretty much. Meg's handle is Meg Grows Plants over on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And you can find me at The Cottage Peach. And we will see you next time. Thanks for listening.